Hello everybody and welcome back to Loot Locked. This week we will be tackling outdoor zones and a few instanced areas. As far as the breakdown, we have 1 stav to get from delves, 121 from outdoor zones, 28 from world drops, 103 from expansion features, 5 from holidays, 2 from world events, 25 crafted, and 1 secret, totaling 286 pieces. Now keep in mind that holidays and world events are ever changing, so just because we need that much at the start of the week doesn't mean those holidays will be available at the end of the week, but our goal is to attempt to get 286 pieces and go from there. And I also gave it more thought and realized that I think stabs are done for the month and we are going to go into August with a new category, so feel free to leave which category you would like me to do in the month of August. Ideally, we want to switch away from weapons, maybe do an armor type. It could be achievements, toys, pets, you name it, I'll do it. Alright, enjoy the video. Peace. Alright, you guys, so I figured we would go expansion by expansion, try and see what easy stabs we can get, which hard stabs there are, and just kind of go from there. So I have Kalimdor and we have Eastern Kingdoms here. We're just going to kind of go around, figure out what's going on. Some of these things are crafted, so you know it might tell us something that we need to craft, and obviously we'll get to that point when we get to crafting, and just kind of go from there. So just going down the list, it looks like the Exodar, there's a vendor that sells this, so I guess we'll head over to Exodar and we'll see what we can find. Alright, so we are looking for Gaul. I'll say that's how you pronounce his name. And I'm kind of hoping he has other things we can buy. You know, as far as vendoring stuff, it's always good to find vendors that sell stuff that people aren't always willing to go find themselves. So I figured if we can go buy some stuff from him, if he has many of these, then we can try and buy a couple. But it looks like it's looks like it's something that won't be too easy. Where'd he go? So let's see. Gaul says he's above us, maybe. Let's see if we can go find him. Alright, so I'm reading this a little bit more. It says it is from Argus, Seeing Red Vendors, so don't think that's going to happen. Southern Barrens, so when it comes to rares, I think our best bet is to leave a character on the rare. So what we are going to do is we're going to log into one of our trusty other characters, specifically Horde, since it is in Southern Barrens, and we're going to leave him where the Geopriest Gukik spawns. Probably leave him there forever until we need him again. So let's log on to another character, and I'll see you in a second. Alright, you guys, this is Patrick. There is a rare that spawns right behind me, and there's also this rare here. So we're just going to leave him here. We're going to have him just kill these guys every day, whenever they're here. And hopefully we'll pick up some loot. Yeah, we got Snort the Heckler right here. And then we also have Geopriest Gukuk, which is the one we're looking for. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of start making a macro that will target these guys. So let's do Geopriest Gukuk, and let's do target Snort. Okay. And then we'll have to kind of work on his bars a little bit, because he doesn't really need to do much other than, you know, other than just these two things, these two people. Alright, because we know that's working at least. But yeah, so here is Snort. And then the one we actually need is Geopriest, which will be right over here. So we're just going to leave him here, and we will log on every day, and we'll visit and see if he has the staff for us. Alright, back to Loot Locked. Alright, well, that was easy enough. There's Kalimdor, so there's something from Argus, and we have Patrick near Geopriest Gukuk. So let's go see what Eastern Kingdoms has in store for us. I'm hoping to, you know, get some pieces. That'd be nice. These are zone drops. It looks like it's still loading, but yeah, these are zone drops. So let's see. These looks like these are, that's inscription. Alright, so that is going to be crafting, obviously. And we can try and see if these are on the auction house. I'm not opposed to buying stuff off the auction house, just in case you didn't hear me the first time I had said it in this, you know, playthrough. Got some stuff that's sold. I do have an auction house guy, but I've also just been kind of using him just because I'm on him. Let's see. Frost Berries. Here's the Frostbit staff for 9,000. I don't feel like spending 9,000 on this. It's something that we can probably farm whenever we want, so we'll skip that. Alright, we got more rares, so we'll write them down, but obviously we do have some rares we're going to have to bring some guys to, so we'll write them down and we'll come back. So zone drops, a lot of the stuff is stuff I've already gotten, so that's kind of the issue with these, and we want to make sure we know what we're doing. So I will be back in a second once we find something great to go get. How is it going, you guys? So I got humbled very quick. Last time we spoke, I was like, hey, we're going to go find some stuff to go get, some stabs. Look through everything, all the things. And there really isn't anything easy. I would say the easiest thing is doing professions, like just getting an inscriptionist. It seems like probably the easiest way to get some stabs. I went through the list. I tried to write down a few things that we basically have to start doing, or we're going to be in a lot of trouble with loot locked. So we got Bountiful Delves, which there's still a staff I need, but we're going to have to start doing Bountiful Delves, which I'm really bad when it comes to the current expansion. I usually go hard the first few months, and then I'm done. So gotta get back to that. So Bountiful Delves, I don't remember if that's a daily thing, or if that's a weekly thing. So we'll have to start doing those. Professions. So again, obviously, as far as stabs are concerned, you got blacksmithing and inscription, and just trying to get those done. So that's terrible. Kind of upset about that. So inscription is definitely what we're going for this week. Draenor Garrison Farming. So basically, there's the events in the garrison, which again I didn't do too much during Draenor, but there's the farming within Draenor. So I basically have to pick the herbs every day, and I'll get a few stabs out of that, but we're not going to have it before the end of the month, so I am just going to kind of do that every day, start farming those kind of things, and we'll revisit as we go. Emissary quests. Again, something I have always hated since the second they were introduced. So we're going to have to do a lot of world quests to get that. All covenants when it comes to Shadowlands. I basically went to Ardenweald, I got my covenant done, and I never touched another one. So there's 3 other covenants, 4 other covenants, however many that I've just never touched. So yeah, there's just a lot to do. The Emerald Dream. There's too many tokens. I mean, every single staff I was looking at, it's like, oh, the vendor has it. It was like, oh, well, you need 1,000 of this token. So you gotta be shitting me. So, and lastly, the Argent Tournament, which luckily you can just run heroic. The heroic dungeon, you'll get 3 every day. So it's not going to be fast, but basically I can guarantee myself getting maybe 500, 600 before the end of the year tokens. And yeah, so we are going to jump on our inscriptionist, which again I don't think I've really ever touched. So we're going to try and use the inscriptionist to get as many stabs as we can. And if we have some time left at the end of the week, we'll maybe farm some rares. We'll see what we could do. So yeah, we're definitely going to do our best, but yeah, I'm humbled. I'm very humbled. I've played this game for 20 years, and it looks like there's a lot of content that I just never did. So I'm looking forward to doing it and bringing you guys along for the journey. So don't forget, at the end of the video, we are going to be voting on what you would like to see next month. Still going to be spinning a wheel to try and decide, but if we get enough people wanting one thing, whether it be achievements, toys, artifacts, whatever. I mean, whatever you guys want. I think it'd be cool to not do a weapon again and maybe kind of switch off every month, so that way we're not always farming weapons, we're not always farming armor. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys watching, and let's jump on to our inscriptionist and level her up as high as we can with whatever money we get. See you then. Alright guys, this is Murda, the inscriptionist, and yeah, we're gonna just level up inscription. We're gonna try and get as many stabs as we can, and then I guess we'll go to the auction house. We'll see if we can find any there, and we'll just do as much as we can before the end of the week. And I hope to give you guys a lot of stabs, but I don't have a lot of faith in myself. So I think there's gonna be a lot of things we're gonna be changing for next month as far as what we're farming, because I need to do better. All right, enjoy all the stabs that we're gonna get from inscription. See you soon. All right, you guys. I figured while our inscriptionist was leveling, we might as well go through the end of the month and kind of see where we were at. So as I'm still trying to figure this out, I need your help to see what kind of settings you would use. So coming into all the things, in the beginning we had appearances, and we had heirlooms, and we had BOE warbound items. So if you do that, and you do this, that brings you to, I'll just scroll down a little bit here, so 1612. And then in the middle of the month, I was like, well, wait a minute. Heirlooms isn't technically part of this unless it's the staff. So that took us down to 1235. And then I was looking at this, and I was like, all right, well, I mean, technically these are BOEs, which technically are staves. But we want to collect the things that are hard to get in that sense. Like, you know, it only comes from this dungeon or this raid. It's not just something that drops from the world. So I think for the time being, we're going to do BOE Warbound items off. And that allows it to just kind of show, like, this dungeon is the only place you're ever getting this item. So basically, if you want the item, this is where you need to get it from. And it can always change. I don't think there's any reason that we have to, you know, always go by these rules. But what I am trying to find out is if I want to get all the staves or if I want to get all the mounts or whatever. Obviously, mounts wouldn't count, but if I want to get all the staves, armor types, weapons, you know, whatever it is, where do I have to go to get an item? And yes, there are BOEs, but you can get those off the auction house. There are warbound items that, you know, there are world drops. You can go on the auction house and get a lot of stuff. Not that I don't want to farm this stuff, but the ones that I really want to tackle are the ones that are, like, zoned. So, you know, I want to do all the dungeons, all the raids, and try and get stuff that way. So I think at least for the month of August, we are going to use these rules. And we just have to figure out what it is we want to go for. So, again, I've kind of mentioned it a few times in this video. Help me try and pick, you know, which one you think we should go for. I think at this point it's going to be a pick for September. We're going to roll the wheel in this episode, and we're going to see what we're tackling in August. And then we'll try and, you know, have like a poll going forward and see what you guys are in the mood for. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to roll for my August one, and then I'm going to roll 4 different ones for September, and that way there's a poll opened and you guys can vote on our September one. And just to kind of give you guys an idea of what your options are. Again, you have appearances, but then, you know, it's heirlooms, illusions, mounts, battle pets, toy box, campsites, achievements, character unlocks. You could do flight paths. I mean, obviously that's not going to do much. And you have your filters, so axes, maces, swords, dagger, you know, there's a bunch. Obviously these are kind of out of the question, but there's a bunch to go for. I was considering doing tabards because I think that would allow me to farm reputations, which we're going to need to unlock other things, but I'm just going to spin a wheel. Alright, so as we do come to the end of our staff journey, we have 577 out of 810 going by these rules. And I'm pretty proud about that. You know, we're a little over 70%. As you can see, we've done all the classic stuff. Burning Crusade, I was in Black Morass, and I tried. I probably did this dungeon 20 times, and just never got this. It was quite annoying. So hopefully we'll get that at some point. That would finish up Burning Crusade. That was literally all of it. And then I didn't really ever get into all these other ones. And we could even turn off this filter so it's not going to show completed. There we go. But yeah, so I'm excited. I mean, I've been having a lot of fun with it this month, just kind of tackling one loot category. Obviously, you get other ones at the same time, but you know, if there's something you want to see, if there's anything you did like seeing, I enjoyed it and I appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the month of July. So here we are at August. Let's get to our wheel, and let's see what we're farming. All right, you guys, we are at the wheel. I got some custom photos to represent some of the categories. So we got weapons, we got achievements, we got pets, we got mounts, and we got armor types. If it lands on mounts, pets, or achievements, that's what we will be focusing on. But if it lands on armor types or weapons, then we'll have to spin another wheel and see what we'll actually be farming. So, may the gods be ever in your favor. Let's see what we get. Come on. Oh, looks like armor types. Alright. That's cool. It's new. Definitely armor types. Alright. I don't have anything made up for cloth to plate yet, but we're just going to spin some words. We'll see what we get. So we'll be right back. Alright, guys. So I didn't want to give you guys words, so I got some pictures. So we are doing armor type for the month of August. But which armor type will it be? I'm preferable to leather, mail, or plate. Nothing against cloth, but I've been a mage my whole WoW career, and yeah, I would prefer to, you know, not do cloth, but we'll just see what happens. All right, we're going to spin the wheel. If it hits cloth, well, that's what we'll collect. All right, let's see what we get.
Come on. Come on. Oh, it looks like male. I'm assuming. Alright, male. I'm okay with that. Alright, well, yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I will roll 4 times and we'll post a poll in the chat, or on the page. So I'm excited. We're going to do male, and when we start next week's video, I'll let you know how much male pieces we got to get and go from there. So I will see you then. Peace.